A warning that thousands of cases of heart disease, stroke and stomach cancer could have been prevented if there'd been a better strategy for reducing salt in people's diets. Back in 2011, the voluntary pact was agreed between the government and the food industry to reduce salt content in foods. But experts say that strategy failed and actually led to a slowdown in reduction. They now say urgent action is needed to prevent extra cases of disease and deaths. Ali Fortescue reports.
We are what we eat, a message we've seen reheated and served up by successive governments. But when it comes to salt, experts say a failed strategy that's seen a lack of monitoring in the food industry has led to hundreds of preventable deaths.
If we don't sort of change the system to have more robust, independent monitoring, then by 2025, that'll be an extra 26,000 cases of cardiovascular disease and about an extra 3,800 cases of stomach cancer. And so our top-line findings really are that, the responsibility deal hasn't worked, and it's led to these excess cases of disease, excess deaths, and excess costs to the NHS.
Since 2011, the food industry has been allowed to set its own targets without rigorous monitoring from the Food Standards Agency or the government. Experts say that deal simply hasn't worked. Even though we're consuming less salt, the rate of change has slowed, which has led to thousands of extra cases of heart disease and cancer.
So how much is too much salt? Well, the recommendation is no more than 6 grams a day. But in reality, we're consuming a third more than that. On average, we're eating 8 grams of salt every single day.
If you think about it, it's the everyday items that people don't really realise contain salt, especially for children. So if you're looking at ham, perhaps, and a slice of toast in the morning, for most that's a breakfast, whereas for a child, that's nearly their full daily intake of salt.
And the worry is people often simply don't realise how much salt they're eating.
It is linked to cardiovascular health, increased blood pressure, and this will be resulting in people's health. And if you're looking at the current state of the UK in general, we know that we've had a lot of public health messages surrounding salt. The fact is, perhaps this message still isn't getting across.
Public Health England say previous voluntary action on salt reduction has helped to reduce the nation's salt intake by 11%. But they go on to say that more needs to be done and that it's clear that with the right leadership from the industry, further salt reduction in foods is still possible. But the warning is that possibility will need to turn to reality soon if we're to avoid a further 9,000 preventable deaths by 2025. Ali Fortescue, Sky News.